I got squashed by Espathra on Pokemon Day?
And y'all play Pokemon Go? Oh snap,
I could.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're all good.
What's up, chat?
Happy belated Pokemon Day, everyone. I went to my local card shop to go participate in the Pokemon Day tournament. Today is Pokemon Day. I'm here at Tabletop Village and I got my promo card here with Diego. And we're gonna participate in the free tournament and we'll see how far we get. Super excited, especially after my last video where I got second place. Maybe I can repeat and get higher. We'll see, probably not. 0-1 against Roaring Moon. It was pretty close this time around. It's down to 2 prize cards. He bosses ordered me, and I walled my head in defeat. Just like that. Diego, how'd you do?
Well, I lost my first round against Roaring Moon, unfortunately. It was down to 1 prize card at the very end, but it was tough, especially when your opponent has like a full bench of Roaring Moon, so there's little to do against that.
It's Return of the Roaring Moon before rotation. Everyone's last hurrah. 40 people showed up, single round elimination, 30 minutes per round. There are random prize drawings between the rounds. Spoiler alert, I did not win. Diego won. He won some dice. That's pretty cool. So, round 1. Wow. It's against Roaring Moon. And I think I have a pretty good success rate with Roaring Moon, playing my Roaring Miraidon deck, which if you don't know the deck build, check out one of these videos. So I kept pace with the Roaring Moon. It was the build with Moltres V, Galarian Moltres. And it was pretty down to the wire. As mentioned in the recap clip, that's pretty much it. Nothing really happened. I walled my head in defeat. Boss's orders, man, very cruel card. We were just swinging back and forth. Back and forth and back and forth. He took 2, I took 2, he took 2, I took 2. Kind of a stall towards the late end of the match. And then 15 minutes later, he won. 1-1, did a mirror match. Loaded up Roaring Moon with Gita early, so second turn I was able to attach an energy for turn and then get the ball rolling. I eliminated like 3 beach courts and then Miraidon came in after Roaring Moon was knocked out for the win. Diego, how did you do?
Not particularly great. I had a matchup against Brute Bonnet, well, Cloth. Like, it works with negative statuses and it does a lot of damage, especially when they have Hisuian Electrodes, so that didn't go well for me.
Round 2, mirror match against Miraidon, a Turbo Miraidon. It's not so much a mirror match and we're both turbos. I'm very much a slowed down toolbox kind of Miraidon. We literally had the same bench when it was like my turn, or I guess it was their turn because they went second. By the way, out of all the rounds, I lost 5 coin flips and I had to go first each time. It was awful. Well, except one person, they went first because they favored going first. Anyways, I lost all my coin flips except for one time, which in the end it didn't even matter. Yeah, literally the same bench when it was their turn. We both had 2 Miraidons, a Raikou, except they had 1 more Raikou. And it was kind of just funny just seeing each other's benches. It's like, wow, you're copying what I'm doing? Rude. Then I pulled out my Miraidon on my second turn and loaded him up real quick with Gita. And then I also attached energy for turn, but because I couldn't attack, I had to wait until the next turn. So after the next, during my next turn, I was able to swap in Roaring Moon and kind of go one by one and pick off my opponent's cards. My opponent, they subbed in, I think that they sacrificed one of their Flaffy, so I couldn't get 2 prize cards. But every time they put a beach court in, I'd knock it out and go for the instant KO on any Miraidon or Raikou they'd send out. So they did manage to knock out my Roaring Moon, except I had 1 more prize card to get. And I already had a Miraidon all built up on the bench, so after Roaring Moon was out, it was Miraidon's turn, 1-hit KO their Miraidon, which is also at 220. So 1-for-1 exchange. 1 and 2, faced a mirror match in the Miraidon. I couldn't set up fast enough. Roaring Moon, I put him on the bench a little too late, and I had to use Gita, and I couldn't hit back in time, so it's kind of a rough loss, but that's what Miraidon's all about. what my opponent did really great is he set up his Iron Hands like really quickly with experience share. So whenever I knocked out his, I think Roaring or his Miraidon or Mew, all of his energies went to his Iron Hands after an Electric Generator too, and then he attached for hand for whatever else. So he was able to get me in like 2 turns and take 3 prize cards like within 2 or 3 turns. I was like, wow. I don't use Iron Hands enough. I do have him in my deck one time. I do plan on using him just like for mostly fodder Pokemon or like 1 prize card Pokemon. Unless it's Luminion. Right?
What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round 3, Miraidon. And yeah, my Miraidon success rate, mirror matches it. Honestly, a 50-50. It's at that point, who can get energies on the bench faster? Now this one's very interesting. I believe this build is a very popular build in terms of meta where they use they use experience share. And with using experience share, whenever I knock out their active Pokemon, an energy can be moved to any of their benched. So they loaded up their Iron Hands in the late game, like mid game. And I was like, oh, okay, very interesting, because mid game they were able to actually hit me like 2 rounds and take my Miraidon out for 3 prize cards instead of 2. So that kind of set the tone. As I mentioned in the previous clip, I had Roaring Moon a little too late in the game. Gita can only do so much because you can't attack after you play Gita, and my opponent wondered why I didn't swap in Roaring Moon. I couldn't attack, and he already had his bench lined up where they could have won. So even if I would have knocked out their Mew or Miraidon, they would have had someone else ready to go afterwards. So that made me think, should I use experience shares for my Miraidon deck? We'll see. I kind of like keeping it kind of slightly off meta, but experience share is super helpful for Iron Hands mid to late game because I don't play Iron Hands enough. I have 1 Iron Hands in my deck. I don't play him nearly enough, and I think it'd be super helpful against those lost boxes. Okay, hit the 4th match?
4th, yes.
I think I'm 2-2. Face Palkia. I attached a Dark Energy to Miraidon, and he said, do you have like a Roaring Moon in there or something? And then I pulled out more Roaring Moon, hit up Gita, and then the rest was history. I loaded up my bench, so no matter who we knocked out or switched out, my Roaring Moon was going to take its place afterwards, because I had 2 prize cards left and I got the win. Diego, we missed 2 matches of yours.
2 matches, but I was able to win the last one. I went against a Kangaskhan EX deck. Played against like very underground decks that I was not expecting to play against too, except for the Roaring Moon one. And fortunately, I won the last round, so we'll see how it ends.
2 more to go.
Yep.
2 more. Round 4. This was a very fun one because my opponent, we both had a lot of fun, like banter, like back and forth. And my opponent was playing a Palkia deck. So this actually dragged on because we ended up having 5 minutes left in the entire round. We both had bad hands to start, Squawkabilly and Professor's Research. Even if we pulled those, it didn't really help that much either. The Electric Generators were not hitting. I maybe got like a 40% hit rate, but I was eventually able to build up one of my Miraidons into the active spot. And then I placed a Dark Energy on the active Miraidon. And he said, why do you have a Dark Energy? Do you have like a Roaring Moon in your deck? And I said, watch this. Placed Roaring Moon on the bench, then I played Turbo Energize on Miraidon, and then loaded up Roaring Moon with 2 Dark Energy. And then my opponent played like so many Ionos. Me and my opponent really traded at least 4 Ionos, and every time we had an Iono, I had an energy in my hand, so I can either put an energy to my Roaring Moon or to someone else who had 2 energy on my bench. So it got to the point where I believe I had 2 prize cards remaining to secure the win. My opponent had 4 or 3, one of those 2. He did knock out one of my Pokemon. Roaring Moon was on the bench. Miraidon, he had a recharge because he couldn't hit 2 times in a row because of his move. It's a recharge move. You hit once, you gotta wait until the other turn. So my opponent said, I'm gonna pass because if I knock out your Miraidon, you're just gonna bring up your Roaring Moon and they're just gonna win. Unfortunately for my opponent, I was able to build my bench even more, and Miraidon was all charged up, so knocked him out and then secured the win.
You play Pokemon Go? Any of y'all play Pokemon Go? Oh, snap.
I could.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're all good.
What's up, chat?
Pogo? Free Pogo code? I wonder if anyone ever redeems that.
2 and 3. Lost to Arceus and Shaman deck. I haven't played one before, and it was relatively close. He got lucky on his pulls. We traded like 4 Ionos. I had like 3 more prize cards left, and he had 1 more prize card left. It was a bit uneven, and there was no point in getting my Iron Hands out because it was just way too late in the game to build him up. Round 5. Arceus and Shaman. I've never played an Arceus deck, so that was a real learning experience for me, and we were just swinging at each other. Like, he'd take 2, I'd take 2, he'd load up his Arceus V, change it to V-Star, and so I'd hit him for a 220, and then next turn I'd play De-Evolution, and then knock him out, and I'd play an Iono, and he'd be like, "You are really making me think." So it was a very brain blast kind of match, because I had no idea how to play it. Fortunately enough for my opponent, he pulled the right cards, because every time he'd pull a card, he'd like kiss it, he'd be like, "Mwah, this is just what I needed," and he'd load up his cards, he'd load up his bench, and he was able to secure the win. It's a very fun deck. I do know Arceus was quite a popular build a while back, so it's kind of refreshing to see kind of older decks in this modern meta.
Alright, there you go.
Well, that was a pretty good round, but mostly because I had the practice against Cap's deck, which is a Miraidon deck for the most part. Well, kind of a hybrid because he also uses a Roaring Moon, which can be very situationally beneficial. So there was that.
2 and 3!
2 and 3!
I got squashed by Espathra. Didn't know how to fight against it. 2 and 3 for the day. Wait, yeah. 2 and 3. I don't know where Diego went.
Wait, 5 rounds?
5 rounds. 6 rounds. No. So 2 and 4. 2 and 4. How'd you do?
3-3-3.
Net 500. Are you guys ready to split the booster? All right, let's go to my car. Let's go home. I got work tomorrow. It's like 10:30. Woo! Woo! Yes.
And then round 6, this is where Espathra spat on my face. So my opponent had Klefki to start the round, and Klefki means in the active spot, you can't use abilities. So I had Miraidon in my active, and I couldn't bring out my Raikou or any other Miraidon. So I had to knock out the Klefki. I was able to knock out 2 Klefkis, but that wasn't enough because my opponent was able to build his Espathra up fast enough. And he also had Pokemon League Headquarters in, so he had Espathra in the active and Pokemon League Headquarters as a stadium card. So what that meant was it cost me 2 more energy to attack. Now that's a little frustrating because my energy, my electric generators, I only had 1 out of the 4 I played, 1 energy attached. Out of the 4 electric generators I played, my opponent felt bad for me, the other Miraidon players sitting next to me felt bad for me, and then they said, "Wait a minute, I take that back. That sounds like a skill issue. You need to pull your electric generators better." And I said, "You know what? Fair."
Did someone really say that to you?
This little girl said it to me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then the guy next to me also said it to me. It was pretty funny. Sounds like a skill issue. It's funny because one of the guys playing Miraidon next to me, we both had the same playmat, and we also had like kind of the same bench going too. And the other Miraidon player next to me, we all played electric generators at the same time. It was super funny. So yeah, it was kind of like a slow draw, a slow bleed for me. He was able to knock me out one by one. And my game plan for Espathra next time is just be better at electric generators, I guess. Okay, it's been like a day. I got home at like 10:30 or like 11 or something. went straight to bed, and we're gonna do this pack opening. I didn't mention, I don't know if I mentioned, we got prize packs like at the tournament. Let's see if I can find it. Series 4 prize pack, and we're gonna open it up. Super excited about opening these up. I love opening up prize packs. Just see what's in there. See if I can bling out my deck. Hair looks crazy right now. I have it tied up, so it looks like I have a totally different, like, my hair's a lot shorter than it should be. We got, is that Super Rod? Curlia. Sky Seal Stone. This is a regular print. A Rare Candy Hollow. Gudra V-Star. Okay. Very nice, very nice. Focus. Is it focusing? And the energy, steel. Metal. Overall, the Pokemon Day tournament was fun. It was a blast, and it was during the middle of a work week, and it was nice to just get away from the chaos of work. It did make me think quite a bit, because, you know, what was supposed to be a 2-hour event turned into like a 3.5-hour thing, but that's what happens when 40 people show up. It was fun also hanging out with Diego. Shout out to Diego, he went 3-3. That's like 500 for you sports nerds out there. For his first tournament ever, that's not bad. That's really good. I think I had 1 win the first tournament I ever went to. I also got a bunch of freebies. I got 2 of these cards. I got a pin. They were giving out pins to everyone. I got a Pogo code card, if you guys like that. If it's not redeemed already. I got some sick pulls from a booster box deal that they had going on. Life is good. I wish every day could be Pokemon Day. Nah, I take that back. If every day was Pokemon Day, I'd be flat out broke. So let me know what you guys did for Pokemon Day down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content in the future. My name is Kevin TCG, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.